Okay, so I'm here with Edwin Peng. Edwin, how are you?
Good.
That's good. So for those who don't know, Edwin is an expert level 2 in Singapore, also KMG director in Singapore, owner of the Kravist gym in Singapore as well,
Yep.
and also the highest ranked instructor in Southeast Asia. Is that correct? I'm still correct.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so Edwin, you and I have had the pleasure or displeasure of training together during the combat mindset
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
back in Canberra.
Yeah.
I forget which year that was, but yeah, I also had the pleasure of training, doing my GIC with Juan and
Yeah.
a number of other of your instructors back then. So yeah, I got to know you pretty early on in the stage. But yeah, for those who don't know, do you want to give a little bit of a quick snapshot of how you got into Krav Maga?
So I actually picked up Krav Maga with the Singapore Armed Forces. I was in the army for 14 years. And in 2005, Krav Maga actually set foot in Singapore. Of course with AL. And it was through the military first. So I was one of the fortunate ones to attend the first ever Krav Maga course with the military, and also fortunate enough to actually complete the course and also qualify for the instructor course. So yeah, from then on, started to teach, started to practice more, mainly in the army.
Yeah.
And it's only around 2013, decided to leave the military, saw a future in craft, and decided to leave the army and pursue something new, totally brand new adventure for me. Yeah.
Okay, and that's always a unique way to that's definitely a unique way to start. I guess to say, because most people come from well, in Krav Maga, most people come from the civilian side of things, and
That's true.
they go in, and I think it's really unique in regards to someone who's been training at such an elite level, for the real deal, for something quite serious, and then doing Krav Maga from that stage, and then going in, because I think a lot of people discount the fact of like Krav Maga's heritage, and that it does have quite a strong military background.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like it's very important for us. Why so? It's just Krav Maga is just practical, and it's easy to learn and easy to retain, easy to remember. And as a soldier, and also for elite units, it's even more important. Why? It's a simple fact that we don't really have time for everything. So to pick up, for example, if let's say we do some form of other traditional martial arts, which takes a lot of time to actually get really, really good at it. The truth is, in the army, we don't have that time. We have other commitments, other operations, other exercises to also do. So to find something that is really practical and really easy to learn in a short time, and to actually be rather proficient in it, I there's no doubt in me that there's no other systems in the world can actually share the same level as Krav Maga.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that agree with you on that as well. But what was the holy shit technique that when you saw EL instructing that made you go, with the light bulb and go, oh, this is it. I want to do this. I want to do this because everyone's got a technique.
There is so many, but the truth is, dead honest, it's at the very first few days that I actually attended the course, I was actually a very junior specialist, you know, straight out from the trainee phase, so and become operational at a very, very early stage.
Yeah.
So I was actually like fooling around during the course. I was, you know, making fun of the movements, behaving like a child, you know, giggling at the back, you know, those kind of just being really, really mischievous.
Yeah.
Then it start to see a little bit more as the days goes by. The truth is, it wasn't AL that impressed me. It was one of the members of the GIT. So they took turns to actually teach us. So at the very, very beginning stage, there was it was a technique, the defensive kick technique. So it was another GIT. He's not with KMG anymore, with another organization. However, he explained the technique, defensive kick forward, and the main thing is to create distance as a oncoming knife attacker. I cannot really remember so very, very clearly. It was years back. So he asked for volunteers, you know, giving him a shield just to hold it in front of him and a rubber knife. And from a distance, he asked the attacker, a colleague of mine, say, depends on you. You can run to me full speed, try to stab me with the knife. And then, you know, again, we are like first time seeing craft. It's like, okay, let's see what you have. So this friend of mine actually ran. It was probably about maybe 7 meters apart, more or less.
Yeah.
So he ran full speed, charging with the knife and really thinking about stabbing. And this instructor, very, very solid, good stomping kick forward. He actually flew back and landed quite hard on the floor. And then he gave up. He said, okay. And everybody went like, so from then on, we actually really started to get really, really serious about all this. To be honest with you, at the beginning, we were quite ignorant. We didn't know what's Krav Maga. It's just like, okay, Edwin, tomorrow there's this course, go and attend this course. All right. So, you know, we really didn't know anything about it until during the course and until this incident. And then from then on, saw how practical it is. I saw how easy it is, and saw how realistic it is. That's the main goal.
Yeah.
And I was really young, and I was considered quite fit at that, you know, at that point of time. Fitness level was really quite high, especially just after the trainee phase, right? So I was actually quite my fitness level was quite okay. I mean, definitely better than now. And then there was a session, like a slow fighting session with everybody. So we switch partners all the time. And AL was in it. So I got to slow fight with AL. Like, okay, what can this, back then he was pretty much in his 50s, I guess. So I was like slow fighting with him, and I got my butt kicked, like really got kicked big time. So that was like, oh my goodness. All right. And after that, it's like the interest level, the curiosity behind Krav Maga, it grew even more within me. And from then on, I didn't actually stop at all. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that was that were the two incidents that actually have a very, very deep impression with me so far. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that shares a lot of insight. So thank you.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of like now you're an expert level 2. Obviously, you have aspirations of going higher than that, but going beyond that. So going past ranks and things like that. What are your Krav Maga aspirations? Like, because obviously you're approaching things as a director, and you're approaching things also as the head instructor of a school, you know, in Singapore. So what are your Krav Maga aspirations, and what do you, what's a goal for you over that horizon, you know, in order to achieve?
It's funny you ask. This year was actually my year to actually go for my next level in Israel. However, you know, with all this this virus situation that is going on, I mean, everything was cancelled or rather postponed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not in a rush to grade actually, but you know, my time was up to go for my next grade. So for me, I guess the goal is actually rather simple. I still feel that not a lot of people still know about craft. I guess that's the truth.
I agree with that.
I mean, if you talk about if you say like taekwondo, everybody knows taekwondo, everybody knows karate. But when we talk about craft, not everybody knows craft. It's the recognition is growing, that's for sure. However, I still think that it's not enough. So my first goal is actually to you know, send Krav Maga and promote Krav Maga to the masses. Like hopefully every Singaporean, everybody in Asia knows Krav Maga, and it's not like Krav what, you know, that kind of the reaction when we start to explain. And I guess following that will be also giving people the knowledge that we are totally different from combat sports and traditional martial arts. You cannot compare us to that. We may look similar, you know, the way that we strike, kicking, hitting, defending, you know, counter attacks, movements, whatever. But we are still not the same as combat sports and other traditional martial arts. Why I say that is I guess it's pretty much the same all around the world. Is when we say Krav Maga, oh, it's just some form of martial art. Oh no, it's another form of the like combat. Do you have sparring? Do you have a competition for it and stuff like that? I get that a lot. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah, we do.
And then we have to spend, you know, like another few minutes or so to explain that, oh, we are not the same. It's for real life. It's for the problems that you may face on the streets, not just physically but also mentally. Blah 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 blah. So this again, it's just lack of understanding or lack of knowledge of craft at this stage. So I guess following my first goal is to, you know, really make people understand what's Krav Maga. Next the third goal is the truth is in my personal goal is to try to still move, still work, still go for tests, still go for grading as much as my body allows me to do so. So I don't know, personal goal wise, let's see. It's as much as I can achieve. So I guess those are the three you can say aspirations in the on the top of my list at this point of time. Yeah.
They're good aspirations to have. Actually, I've got very similar aspirations. One of my pet peeves is that when you have someone who already knows what Krav Maga is, it's a very, very easy student to get on board. But when it's someone who doesn't know what it is, and which is the most common, you're competing with BJJ, you're competing with boxing, you're competing with taekwondo and kickboxing and all that. And
I
maybe
guess,
that's not what they were after.
Yeah, and I guess there's also a lot of presentation of or misunderstanding about Krav. When we talk about Krav Maga, if some you get students, oh, Krav Maga, that's a very aggressive and very deadly sport, yeah, blah blah blah. You get those, and then after that, I always say this to people who ask me those kind of questions is, I guess the system is not aggressive. I mean, how aggressive it is if the first thing that we actually teach you is to de-escalate. All right, you know what? You're right. I'm wrong. All right, I'm going to back off right now. I don't have any trouble. I'm leaving. Blah, 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 right? How aggressive and how deadly is that? I mean, right? But I guess there are, other organizations, other representations of Krav that it's like, okay, there's it's you're going to break somebody's neck in terms of self-defense. No, I mean, wrong misinterpretation of the system. And this is something that we also have to actually spend time to actually educate and to, let people know that, no, Krav Maga itself is not deadly. The one who, I always say this, the one who is using it can choose to make it really, really deadly, really, really aggressive, or totally not. So it's not the system. I guess it's more of the user, the one who is doing it. Yeah. So that's another something else.
I like referring to Krav Maga as a tool that you hopefully never have to use for the worst day of your life.
Yeah.
That's the way I like relaying it to a lot of the students or the inquiries that I get. But a lot of people do struggle with the fact of that reality side, which is obviously always going to be a bit of an issue. But moving on, in terms of every instructor has a different teaching style. So we all come from this KMG family, and we're all taught how to teach. But within that, there's obviously personalities and things like that. So how would you describe your teaching style?
Well, it depends who you ask. If you ask my students, some of them refer me as assholes. So some of them are going to watch this eventually. My style is, I would say first is, I think I'm very, very technical. I can spend the entire class or entire hour. I mean, depending on what kind of classes, like advanced instructor training and stuff like that. I can spend hours just working on a single technique over and over and over again, breaking it down. Let my guys know what exactly is this used for, what's the use of this section, what's the reason for this, what's the reason of that. I can spend quite some time on techniques. So I guess the first thing that to actually mention about my style is I'm very technical. I believe the technique is constant throughout every level. Why I say that is this. For guys, if I do a comparison with male and female, guys and girls, it's if the technique doesn't, you make a mistake within the technique. So for example, defending a knife attack, if you make a small mistakes within the technique, especially for guys, you still have a very strong chance of surviving that attack if you're really, really aggressive. You start fighting really, really strongly and very aggressively, you still stand a very high chance of not dying. Just put it this way, right? But for girls, it's not the case, as we all know. The technique itself is very important for girls especially.
Yes.
So So I'll like everybody, my style is to make sure every student or instructor understands the technique well enough, so that you don't just depend on aggression, you don't just depend on physical build or physical strength, and let the technique work for you. Having all those, having the aggression, having the physical abilities, it's, to me, it's the bonus, but the foundation, it's still the technique itself. So I would say the first one that can come in my mind, it's I'm very technical in what I do. Second, it's I just, maybe because of my military background, the physical part. Yeah. So I actually train, rather not just the technical part, but the physical fitness is also one of my I guess you can call it my style. Training. I mean, not just for Krav Maga. Let's put Krav Maga aside, just for personal fitness and health and stuff like that. It's also something very, very important to me. So I guess my second style, if you want to really call it, is I can be really, really hard with my students, physical training wise. So yeah, so I'll probably say those two are my key points. And of course, I like to make it fun, and everybody has a great time with sometimes my very lame jokes. So yeah, I guess those are the two main ones. Being very, very technical, and I would say physically demanding.
Yeah. I'd like to add something else to that, because at the GIC in 2014, I witnessed, along with a lot of other now instructors, witnessed for our test. You actually came out and surprised your team.
Oh yeah,
they were doing GIC with us.
2013 or 14, I cannot remember.
It was 2014. Yeah.
14. Okay.
Yeah, and we were all gobsmacked that there was their head instructor who flew down to Australia just to see their test.
Yeah.
And we were all like, wow, that's the type of instructor we want to be. Yeah. So as a school owner, I saw that, and I went, okay, that's exactly what I want to aspire to. I want to try and train my future instructors, when I eventually have some, to that level of care and everything else. And we also witnessed you get, quite proud when you witnessed all your instructors get their GIC. And I think a lot of people, when they're going through the GIC, sometimes it's personal goals and things like that. And especially like in my own experience, like I went through the GIC and I didn't really have a home gym. So I didn't have a gym that I was affiliated with. The gym that I was affiliated with got kicked out of KMG. So I wasn't affiliated with them at that stage. So I didn't have a home base. So I saw that and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to build a home and I'm going to do that. And I know, for instance, people like Danny Green and Chris Beckner, they all witnessed.
I remember them.
Yeah, they all witnessed the camaraderie that you had with your instructors, and we went, okay, well, that's what we want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to also add that in your list, because we witnessed that, and we were very proud for you when we witnessed it. So it was quite good to see the bond between the head instructor and the new instructors. Which brings me on to the next question, which I know I didn't run this one through with you before, but you have a leadership program in Kravist at the moment, which is your gym. Do you want to tell everyone about that leadership program?
You mean the instructor program?
The instructor lead, yeah. Yeah, the instructor program. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the main thing for us is we are lacking instructors. There's no secret to that. But to find somebody right, I mean, we have to find the right person for the right job, right? I mean, I'm sure everybody agrees with me. But it's so difficult, you know. It's so difficult to wait for the next one to start walking through the door. It's very difficult to wait for the next good instructor to walk through the door and then start to. It's almost like purely depending on fate to actually meet a person like that. So what we are doing here is actually to see and to ask students, both past and present, and to see anybody who is interested in becoming a Krav Maga instructor. That's number one. And secondly, who is also able to contribute in terms of having some time to teach, and out of that, making a small little living out from teaching Krav Maga, giving them a possibility of making this into a career. We are at baby steps right now, is to be honest with you. So we are sending out invitations, and right after we send an invitation, if anybody who is interested, you actually need to come down for an interview with us, and just to explain, what's required to you guys. I mean, to whoever that's interested. At the same time, to see, I mean, are you the correct person, or at least close to what we are looking for? And from then on, we filter off, and only some selected ones will be selected to go on this program. So this program is actually for quite a long duration of time. We're talking about nearly to a year of training. However, with the current situation right now, I mean, everything is closed. We cannot really kick off the program, so we have to really adjust our approach in this eventually. But we are talking about at least 20 hours of training in a week. So I correct myself. At least about 7 classes in a week to begin with, and we have to see them in the gym, almost
all the time,
as much as you can, as over time. And even from somebody who is like totally brand new can also try. And once come the end of the year, we also offer them the GIC, and from then on we from then on, that's the next level of filtering to see who is in and who is out. I mean, some people are very talented. They get things really, really quickly. Some maybe take a little bit more time. So we shall see. First time we are running this program, so to be honest with you, it's also something really new to me, and the main thing is having them, to see them every week, a certain number of hours in a week, and to really drill them until the level that we feel that they are ready for GIC for an extended period of time. So that's what the program is all about. At this stage,
look, I saw it on your website, and I thought, you know what, that's a brilliant idea to start, interviewing people, and at least start the conversation at an early stage, so that way you can really start, like honing in on someone a little bit earlier, and look for warning signs if there are any, because sometimes you'll look past a few warning signs, especially if you're not even considering that person for an instructor, and then all of a sudden they'll come up to you and they'll say, hey, I want to be an instructor, and it's too little too late at that point. You haven't really thought about it.
I guess for us, it's also the important factor is how well can you also contribute back to the organization. It's not just, all right, take a JC, all right, thank you, see you, bye-bye, you know, and
Yeah.
if you don't see them again, that's not exactly what we are looking for as well. We want to search for proper instructors who can actually you know, move up the ladder, obviously, within KMG, and also to teach in our regular classes. So that's actually our goal. Will it be successful? Like I said, I don't know. We have never done this before. This is our first one. So we shall see, and it's going to be quite a challenge as well. It's because we need to spend quite a bit of time, you know, starting from whenever they start to open up the gym again. You know, that period of time until the end of the year, where GIC is normally scheduled for us in Singapore. So well, keeping my fingers crossed. We will wait and see, I guess, for this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you just recently opened up a new gym.
Yeah.
Which is Kravist, and I'll have the link down below for everyone to see. But
right.
But also, you know, like it's a very, compared to how most Krav Maga gyms normally look, this is a very unique look for a gym, like the way it looks. So you must have had, was it your idea or Juan's idea to do that, or you must have been
good, very good question. To be honest, I don't own the gym 100%. We shared among 3 partners.
Yeah.
And the truth is that my 2 other partners are actually, both of them are my students actually.
Yeah.
Student first, turn friend turn instructor, and now turn business partner. So so obviously all of you guys know Juan. Most of you know Juan, and the other partner is Eric. So the 3 of us are actually in this together, and obviously not forgetting Eric's wife. Her name is Siobhan. So if you think about the entire dynamics of this team, is one himself, he does a lot of production work. He himself is a producer, video editor. You know, he does documentaries with HBO. Siobhan herself is a photographer. So both these 2 are very into the social media line, which is, I am definitely not an expert in that. I'm probably a P level, P4 in that, I would say. But I guess both of them are within the expert range, I have to say. So with that, they also come. They have a little bit more input on how the gym should look like. You know, being more Instagrammable, more, you know, if it comes out on Facebook, it looks nice and stuff like that. So the entire look, the entire feel, the entire vibe of the gym, the color scheme and everything is mainly from them. And if you look at our pictures, it's actually a very simple gym. It's literally like almost like 4 walls, changing room one side, and then we have the open mats and 4 bags, and that's it. What I wanted was actually just space. A lot of space to actually we all need space, right? The most important thing about our product is I would say the raw materials for our product is the space. So I wanted to keep it very, very spacious as much as I can. So yeah, the entire look is it's not exactly big. In the picture it may look big, but it's about, we go by feet here, so it's about 1,200 square feet. I don't know how much is that in square meters, but it's about 1,002 square feet, which can comfortably hold nearly 30 students at a go. I don't think that's
not bad. That's not
bad. Yeah, including the back. So yeah, so I have to, I have to credit the appearance, the image to both Juan and Siobhan in the design of the entire feel of the place.
Well, one of our rooms in our gym is 150 square meters, and the other one is 50 square meters, and then we've got 100 meters used up for reception area. So, but that 150 square meters that we have in the very big room, even with all that space, somehow if we're doing groundwork, people just all come together. Like it's like this dangerous thing. All of a sudden, the moment groundwork happens, it's like no matter how much you focus on safety and training, everyone just somehow manages to turn the room very, very small.
Yeah, I get that also. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Well, I guess that's why the instructors are there, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, look, it is what it is. One of the joys of doing groundwork and running classes in the rented space that we have. But the next question that I wanted to ask you was in terms of your training, like who do you regularly train with?
Tough question, man. The truth is, just because of our schedules, I try to squeeze time out to train with Juan and train with Eric. But we all have they all have their day jobs, and sometimes most of the time our schedules doesn't really fit into each other. So I actually do a lot of training on my own. And once we have the opportunity to train with each other, then we will definitely do that. The truth is, it's also rather difficult to actually train or to actually correct my mistakes, because to be honest with you, unless I go to Israel or a more senior GIT comes to Singapore, I cannot really check whether am I doing things correctly or not. So that's definitely a challenge. So I this is not the first time somebody asked this question. So normally I would just say that, you know what, I will try to make sure whatever I know from P1 all the way up to my current level, whatever material and curriculum that I know, I try to do it as good as possible, as accurately as possible to where I am right now, to the level I am right now. And once I get the opportunity to either go to Israel, or if a senior GIT comes to Singapore, I only need to focus on my next level, the curriculum in my next level. So which means that for me, I do a lot of repetitions after repetitions after repetitions after repetitions, and not just doing on one side, also doing on the left side. So you imagine it's not a right-handed attacker, it can be a left-handed attacker. Just working mirror image a lot on the technical aspect, and obviously the physical aspect. Working a lot on my cardio and my strength stuff. I don't really lift weights. I do a lot of body weight exercises, a little bit more. I run quite a bit. So basically past techniques and my own physical training. So that's those two things I actually focus on. And if occasionally we have if you are fortunate enough to train together with the instructors, then we will train together. Or sometimes when our gym was still open, I mean before the entire semi-lockdown that we have here in Singapore, we every Saturday morning we have instructor training. So every instructor will come into the gym, working about more advanced techniques. I mean, as in towards the line, also not just that, but also not just advanced, but basic ones as well, fundamental stuff as well. And so sometimes I by teaching them, it's also a form of training for me. So that's actually not a bad thing, to be honest.
I've noticed as well the Zoom classes, as much as I hated doing them when I first started, I've been reviewing them and after I upload them, and because I'm uploading them as well into my private members Facebook group, and I'm reviewing the video footage and I'm saying, why'd I do that? And, you know, I'm looking at things that I did and going, okay, well, no, I've got to fix that next time. I'll address that. So I'm getting a chance to see what the students are seeing, and which is, well, I guess it's what, you know, it's great to have that perspective, you know, because normally you wouldn't have that perspective. Normally you wouldn't, you wouldn't see that. So that's been helping me a lot lately, like in this current environment anyway. But yeah, it is tough, and yeah, like you, I'm doing a little bit more physical now than anything else because there's not much else to do.
Tell me about it.
But which brings me on to the next question, which is like, do you have any other hobbies outside of Krav Maga?
I mean, when I was really young, I played a lot of other sports. Nothing serious, you know. It's not like I'm an expert in anything else. You know, the normal stuff, all the boys stuff, the soccer, basketball, table tennis, you know, all those kind of stuff. Apart from craft, honestly, I don't really do anything too much apart from my you know, my own physical training and stuff. Time to time, I mean, in the past, I still visit a friend's mixed martial art gym. You know, go inside and do some Muay Thai with him, just because we are very good friends. You know, so we train, cross train a little bit together. That's about it. The truth is, honestly, I don't really have that time to actually do too many things outside from craft. Again, craft is my full-time job. Apart from the classes, in the daytime, we still have like private classes, private training and stuff like that, private clients. I'm also still engaged with some work together with the military in Singapore, some of the units. So if that happens, it's like my daytime is totally off. So to be honest with you, I don't really have any extra hobbies out from craft. It's out, if you really want to put it, then I guess it's just lying on my bed, relaxing, catching up on rest, than more than anything else. So yeah, I mean, as in, you know, in between break times, hitting the back a little bit, you know, all this kind of stuff. That's pretty much. Yeah, I actually hope to pick up something new, but well, hopefully we get enough instructors, and I need not teach too many classes, so I got a little bit more free time to do everything else. So yeah, that's a hope. That's one list on my small piece of paper. So
okay. Well, one thing that I notice with Krav is like I personally find it therapeutic. I when I'm doing it, I'm training it, I feel like a big weight is coming off me. Like, do you find Krav Maga therapeutic? Do you find it like you know, like, mind you, like after you've been doing it for so many years, I imagine, of course, you would as well. But yeah, but how do you find it? Do you find that it releases a lot?
Hell yeah, especially I punch one in his face. Obviously with boxing gloves and stuff like that. No, I'm kidding. Yes, of course. It's taking my mind off other stuff. It's fun. I like the adrenaline. I like the, you know, honestly, I don't really know how to really put it, but if the one thing is, it's like the moment, if let's say for example a knife attack, the moment the knife is coming towards you, and the moment that you realize, the moment and you make a very, very good technique, for example, and deep down, you know that, oh, man, that was good, you know, the checkpoints are on you know, spot on, the connection, the contact point is spot on, the movement is spot on, the counter attack spot on, and you can clearly tell yourself, hey, if this really happens to me, I stand a very high chance of surviving the attack. I'll not say like, you know, totally not get injured and stuff like that, right? I mean, there's no such thing in this world. Yeah, we have to understand that, right?
Yeah.
But the more that we train, the chances of not getting seriously injured or die is definitely much higher than compared to not training at all. You know what I mean? So
yeah, of course.
You know, when we start working on that, especially if, let's say, I get to train with my instructors, and you know, they are already have a certain level, and if they you know, do some attacks on me and I'm able to defend myself, and you know, it's that sort of feeling, even like a surprise attack. You can be just walking and you know, just fooling around, you know, doing something like this to us, and then you know, you jump on them and then do some form of you know, that kind of surprise, and at that moment, that small little adrenaline. Oh, I love that. And I guess that's what's I always look forward to train with the instructors if we have time. So yeah, is it that's you know, that's the kick for me. Who needs other hobbies, right?
Look, yeah, good point. Now, has your love of Krav Maga helped you in any difficult situations at all, or and do you care to share if you have found yourself in a difficult situation and you've had to utilize Krav?
Physically, yes. In a way, yes. Maybe not to share too much details on that one. But I guess a little bit more of you know, Krav Maga is I would say it's the first thing that I pretty much have a little bit more talent in doing this. I mean, compared to other sports, like, you know, all the soccer, basketball, you know, all those kind of other sports. I think for me, I'm fortunate enough to have a little bit more talent in this area. So when I got to do it more and more and more, I find it easier as I go along the way. And I guess in terms of your question is, I turn my passion into my job. I love the army, don't get me wrong. I love my time in the military. But if you talk about, is it like being a passion, I would put Krav Maga more of a passion to myself, just because to me it's easy for me to get it to quite a good level. Let's put it this way. So for me, it's Krav Maga is not just in terms of not just a job. I mean, it's paying my bills, obviously, yes. But also it's like I'm not exactly working. It's more of, you know, I like doing what I'm doing. I like teaching. I like, you know, just still train, but at the same time it helps me in my bills. It's helped me to survive. So I guess that's actually how, I mean, it kind of Krav Maga itself, or KMG itself, actually just it transformed my life. I mean, I don't need to go into the jungle anymore. I have to I get to stay on dry land, go back home at a good time. You know, I get my nice bed and not sleeping in the jungle and stuff. I mean, so I guess it changes my life in terms of that, obviously. Yeah, I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. And obviously, being the director of KMG Singapore and also being a school owner, so this question can be interpreted in one or two ways, really. But what would you consider to be the most difficult project or class that you've had to undertake in as the director of KMG Singapore, or as the school owner per se?
Very, very good question. I think I'm okay in most of the areas. But if you ask me if I would choose like one class that if I can choose not to teach, if let's say I can choose wise. I don't know whether should you add this or not.
That's really what I'm asking.
I may not be too good in teaching girls, like a full ladies class.
Yeah.
You know, I may struggle. I might struggle in that. You know, especially a group of class where it's sometimes we do like open seminars and all, and we get sometimes some girls coming in, doing this kind of behavior and all this kind of reaction. It's to me that's very challenging. To me that's very how I put it. On one hand, we still want to be kind and not hit the back of the head. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, we need to spend a bit more time and then to explain, and not just the technique wise. Before the technique wise, you have to tell them about the mindset, why is this important to us, and then what's your motivation of coming to class. And if the motivation is not exactly in line with us, then, maybe not in the right place, all this kind of stuff. So I guess I struggle the most. Let's say if we talk about the entire group of people that I train, I'll probably struggle a little bit more in a all women's class. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like all the girls here are like, doing that kind of behavior. It's just that, time to time you will get a few of those, and we have to spend more time explaining and, getting the mindset correct. And it's that to me, I find it the most challenging. Apart from that, I will still teach a whole women's class, don't get me wrong. It's just that if you ask me what do I struggle the most, and I'm a little bit impatient, to be honest. So I'll probably struggle a little bit more with a all women's class. I prefer guys in a group. I prefer mixed classes, just to balance it out a little bit more. Yeah.
So next question, which is really like, how important is the KMG community to you and to your gym?
Very important, I would say. It's me and AL, we are good friends ever since 2005. So it's like 15 years already. I've known him. I mean, to date, I've known AL for 15 years, right? So he was one of the first few instructors. In fact, Tommy Bloom is also one of the first few instructors who actually taught my course in the military. So to me, it's just just being loyal to my instructor, to my teacher. And I mean, if you all know AL is such a nice guy. You can learn a lot of stuff from him, not just Krav Maga, but outside of Krav Maga. If you get a chance to actually sit down and talk to him, he will, show you things and tell you things in a lot of different other perspective. And I mean, looking at the entire KMG brand. We have KMG in more than it's like more than 60 countries all around the world. And of course, with our group of very, very knowledgeable GITs, GTs and ITs, as in the entire GIT group. If you look at the entire group, there are so much knowledge within that group. And together with AL, I guess we form a very, very strong team. And I mean, KMG is the best. I mean, I cannot really think about any other organization that can actually stand in front of KMG talking about real, authentic Krav Maga, right from the source. I mean, AL is the man. I mean, obviously, there are other organizations that is also, you know, rather legit and all, but to me, I only follow my instructor, my teacher, who is AL, and you know, as long as he's in charge of KMG, I mean, no reason for me to think about any other organizations. Yeah, and so far, AL and the KMG HQ has given me a lot of support, not just merchandise or curriculum, but also knowledge and experience, you know, giving us certain guidelines to follow, and constantly checking on us how in terms of how we're doing and stuff like that. I mean, what more can I ask for in terms of an organization? So yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with KMG. And very happy with AL. I mean, very happy with the rest of the other GITs as well in the group. And obviously, no problem with any other directors. So yeah, I think all the directors within the organizations are also, we have this group chat, you know, like a directors group chat, and everybody's sharing information time to time within that group chat. You know, certain updates, certain incidents that they came across. You know, it's very informative. So in terms of organization wise, obviously we can argue I've not been to any other organization. I cannot really compare, but I mean, it's good enough for me at this stage. So yeah, to me, KMG is good enough.
Yeah, 100%. Now, throughout your entire Krav Maga journey, like, is there most memorable interaction you've had with someone, like in particular, like? Or...
Okay, there's actually quite a few. I would say the first year that I was in Israel, my first very camp in Israel, I think that was in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. 2012 was my first ever camp in Israel. And, you know, at that point of time, first time there, didn't know what's going to happen. You know, the language is different. To me, it's totally foreign. I spent like an hour and a half alone just on security checks before I bought the plane to Israel. First time. So that was already an eye opener. And once we got there, I've thought, apart from AL and maybe Tommy and some of the other instructors that taught me before, I totally do not know anybody. So it was the first ever trip. So just you know, just sitting at the hotel lobby and just, you know, looking around, and people start walking in, registering for the camps and stuff like that, you know. And I saw Richard from Australia, Richard Fagan. He was also one of the instructors during my my course in the military. And if you know Richard, he's like the most quiet, the most soft-spoken guy that you're ever going to meet, the kindest guy that you're gonna meet, you know. But when you do Krav Maga with him, totally different person, totally different Richard, right? So I guess one of the most memorable ones was Richard was in that camp. And from there, I saw Natasha from, used to be, he's Canadian, stayed in Norway. Now he's back in Canada again. So Natasha and another instructor from Sweden, if I'm not mistaken, his name is David, if I'm not, Daniel. So the four of us for some reason, we got together and we formed like a group of four. So we went around Israel in a group of four. We went to training together, as in the four of us were trained together. We have meals together. We go for dinner together. We basically spend almost the entire whole camp, the four of us together. So we kind of make like a small little wolf pack among ourselves, and that's the beauty about, going to camps. Like you can, one moment you totally do not know anybody. The next minute, you have already 3 friends, like good friends, eating together, training together, spending time together. That's one of the beauty about the Israel camps. And I would say the most unforgettable incident was with Richard, to be honest. And on that same trip and in that same camp, there was a AL called out, can we have one of the training sessions, of course. AL called out, can I have 2 volunteers to do a demonstration? If I'm not mistaken, was the circular step. So I was the attacker, Richard was the defender. So both of us, we actually volunteered to, he explained something, we will show it, right? So Richard being Richard, so as normal, in front, I start to stab Richard, the most perfect 360 you ever see. He did that. And at the same time, he kicked me so hard in my groin, like so hard, like you can really hear that. We were training at Wingate, so the entire hall was, it's a big hall, but everybody can hear the hit on the groin guard, and everybody thought that I'm going down. I will be, I might need to go to the hospital. The way he kicked my my groin guard, right? It was so loud and was so hard. And the funny thing was, AL walked to him, turn and look at Richard and say, "You no need to kick him that hard. You know that, right?" Something like that. But Richard being Richard, So I miss him though. I have not seen Richard for ages. I hope he's okay, doing well. But yeah, I guess I don't know whether he remembers that or not. But yeah, that was one of the. I was okay actually. I had a very good groin guard. Just for info. But obviously it's still painful. But I guess that was the most unforgettable incident I have, in terms of Krav. And I've not get my groin kicked so hard before. Richard was the first one, and so yeah. So Richard, I hope he's doing well.
Okay, so what brings me on to the last question, because we're running out of time. But the last question is, what do you hope people take away from Krav Maga?
Good. I will finish off with I hope people feel that not just Krav Maga, let's talk about self-defense in general. And for us, self-defense is Krav Maga.
Yeah.
I hope that people do understand that self-defense, or Krav Maga in our case, is not just a good to have. It's, to me and to us, it's a necessity, because you will not know when we'll need to use it, right? And hopefully you don't need to use it at all in your entire life. No need to use Krav Maga at all. That's like best thing, but we are always talking about the what ifs. Yeah. So I really hope that, you know, people don't view us or view Krav Maga, view KMG like a, all right, you know, I have some spare time, I have a little extra cash, you know, let's go and try this out. Not that kind of mindset, but more of, okay, you know, what if one fine day something bad really happens to me? What if one fine day something really, really bad happens to my loved ones who is by the side of me? And at that point of time, you don't know how to deal with the situation. That's not going to be too good.
Yeah.
So I really hope that whoever that's watching this thinks the same way as I, or actually share the same thought. Like I will just have a bit of, just maybe have a small little thinker that self-defense, Krav Maga, is not just, you know, not just like a good to have, but let's start viewing it as a necessity for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a really good one. That's a really good take on it, and a really good thing to hope for everyone to actually realize. We've pretty much run out of time. So Edwin, thank you. You've been an absolute,
yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah.
All right, so I'll have the links for Kravist and everything else in this video, and thank you.
Yeah.
We'll be speaking to you soon.
Yeah, cool, man. Take care.
All right.